Welcome back, Filmholics. My name is Kyle Kendrick, but in this channel you find anything and everything filmmaking. So, quick little note. I used to record with this. This is the Sony a6400, and I still love this camera to hell. But you are officially watching me from the Sony a7S III. It looks awesome, and I'm using S-Log3 because you can finally use that in a smaller camera than their cinema cameras. So there's that. Another cool thing, it's 422 10-bit. So the color grade is gonna be a lot more smooth, a lot more cinematic, and so good. But let's go ahead and get started. Today I speak my mind muscles about Canon's new cinema camera. And this thing is obviously focused on being smaller and portable and just made for either hybrid content creators and cinema people or people who are doing a little bit of everything, and I love it. It's not focused on photography like the R5, but I'll speak more on that later. Starting off, let's talk about the specs. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the sensor. The sensor is a Super 35 sensor that's inside of the Canon C300 Mark III. That is an amazing camera. So the fact that you made something this small to have that's impressive. It also has 16 stops of dynamic range here and there. It depends on the usable ones. So we'll see a test on that later in probably Jared's video on it. But it also has 3 different picture profiles. That's going to be C-Log, 2, 3, and HLG. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this body though. This body's finer than a hourglass body. This body's made for portability. It has a removable top handle, 2 XLR inputs that are miniature, so that's still XLR inputs. That's pretty amazing. Dual SD card slot and 5-axis stabilization, and best of all, in my opinion, is built-in ND filters, not on an adapter, inside the camera, inside a small camera. That's beautiful. That's made to be in a feature film slash action cam slash yeah. Now let's go ahead and talk about them video specs. It's basically this camera. That's insane. It has 10-bit 422. It has 24 frames to 120 frames in 4K, and then it has 24 to 180 frames in 2K. Not in 1080p, in 2K. And my favorite part, and I wish the Sony camera had this, it has a LUT preview where you can install a LUT inside the camera and then you can preview what you're filming with said camera. Now, in mid-filming and you can see what you're already gonna edit it into, that's just pretty awesome to me. I love that concept, and I know it's not new, but the fact that a small camera has this, it is, everywhere. Also has its, the classic, Canon codecs, so you already know about that. I'm not gonna talk about that. Probably maybe in a different video, but I don't have the camera, so I can't really tell you about the codec. Now the autofocus, it is gonna have the same autofocus that all Canon cameras, where they're just basically amazing. It has dual pixel AF, it has face detection, all that stuff it comes with. And you could use touchscreen to focus. That's pretty cool. I love that. I love everything about this. Now the mounting system. The mounting system is gonna be the RF lenses, which is the new mirrorless Canon lens line, which are amazing. They're amazing lenses, amazing glass, and you're gonna have a lot of variety in it. Since they're new, they are gonna be a little bit more expensive, but that's because you have adapters for the old lenses. And you have adapters that have more ND filters, so if you need even more, I don't know if you do, but yeah, there you go. Boom, bada bing. Yeah, awesome. And also, you can adapt a PL mount. The ARRI Alexa lenses, you can adapt those. So if you can afford those fucking lenses or rent those lenses, then yeah, awesome. I can't, but you can. Last thing to talk about spec-wise is going to be the controls, and they're great and easy, just like the C300. There's gonna be a bunch of buttons on the side. That's just gonna make life so much easier. And then, of course, touchscreen, which makes life, again, so much easier. If everything was touchscreen like steering wheels should be, then yeah, I would love if a steering wheel was touchscreen. You'd be like driving like this. Probably more like this, like a Xbox controller or whatever. But you know what I mean. So how does this camera compare to the R5 that just came out by Canon as well. Well, I hate talking about this because yes, everyone's bashing on Canon for this, but it's also just like they're photography first when it comes to a compact camera, and then they're cinema first for their cinema cameras. And I guess people aren't understanding that completely, but yes, this camera does not overheat and there's no recording limit as well. And also, there's no 8K, but I mean, do you really need 8K when you have so many specs like this from a camera? That's just amazing. So, in my opinion, there's just less limitations. If you're going for the R5, you're going for photography. If you're going for this, then you're going for an amazing cinema camera that looks just buttery awesome. But let's also compare this to the C300 Mark III. And that camera does not have an RF mount while this one does. It depends on what you prefer, but again, there are adapters to, well, negate that whole thing. It's also going to be a lot bigger, and while the C70 is smaller, I mean, that makes it easier for run and gun shoots if you're just starting out. If you're freelancing, that's something great. And also, it doesn't have the 12-bit internal, I mean, the 12-bit external, sorry about that. It doesn't have that, but I mean, 10-bit, again, beautiful. Let's finally talk about my thoughts on this camera. Fuck! I wish I had the money for this. If I could rob a bank or anything, don't FBI or whatever. I'm not actually going to do this for this camera. But if I could, I want this camera. But the thing is, I don't have the budget for a over $6,000 investment, almost $10,000 if you're including lenses and equipment and batteries and so much other stuff, memory cards, external recorders. I don't have that, but I wish I did. Oh my fucking god. This is a dream camera because one, you can content create with it because it has every spec you need for content creation. It has the simplicity of the Canon codecs. It has the portability that you need. Imagine vlogging with this motherfucking thing. That would be insane. That'd be stupid. But I could see Casey Neistat doing this shit. I would love it. Oh my god, I need to stop. I need a break. Ugh. I'm back. So yeah, basically those are my thoughts. I love the camera. Let's go ahead and just check on the comments, I guess. So the first comment's actually gonna be from one of my friends from work where I used to work in Flex. Let's not continue talking about that because that actually makes me sad because I'm not working there because theaters are closed. But yeah, Daniel, he commented on my picture profile comparison video / 500 subs. It was basically a remake of my worst video. And he says, yo, I want to see that dog jump into the hammock with you. Keep up the good work though, bud. And I'm like, thank you, man. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I already said that in the comments below, but I also want to just say that in a video, just make it more personal. And then the second comment is gonna be a little bit more of a hate one. It's by Geek's Life checkmark. It's for my thoughts on the A7C. I cannot get used to Sony's A7C line. It just feels so confusing with the A7 III, A7S, A7R, A7C. But okay, let's go ahead and talk about this one. So you start your video blowing smoke right in our faces. I know it's weird, but that's why I'm not sticking around. And then it does this emoji with sunglasses. Imagine sunglasses. But I'm just thinking more like same. I mean, if you don't feel it, don't stay. I'm more of a kind of nuanced, weird, casual YouTube person. I just started out. This is my style. If you don't like it, go away. If you do like it, vibe with me. That's all I have to say. The world is big. You gotta find a different creator. So there's so many people out there. But let's go to the final comment. And that's by Ka Yuen Lee. Sorry if I butchered that, but that is for the Sony a5000 in 2020 video, not the new one, the old one again. Hi, do you mind telling me how to manually change the aperture in the camera? I'm driving myself crazy trying to figure it out. Thank you. And yes, I could actually do that. I'm gonna be doing a lot more reviews and how-tos since I'm taking out the reactions. I'm actually gonna put that in a future how-to video. But basically, just change the function. And well, here, let me just show you. So if you see the wheel right here, the bottom one actually changes the function. So it's either going to be aperture like it is now, but I have a manual lens so I can't show you the actual physical aperture right there. So the aperture is supposed to be right here. If you press this, it changes it to shutter. Press it again, it goes to aperture, and then just spin the dial. But again, it's a manual lens, so I mean, it's whatever you have. And that's how you do that. But I guess that's an extra tip in this video. I guess, I'm not sure, but yeah, there you go. If you want more gear reviews, go ahead and check out one of the playlists that's over here. I forgot which side I do it on. I always forget. I can never actually remember this type of stuff. But let's go ahead and like and subscribe and dream on.